If the leaks are even half accurate, Samsung might be about to do something that will either excite you or completely ruin the Ultra vibe. The Galaxy S26 Ultra dummy units just surfaced online. And forget the specs for a second, because the first thing that grabs you is the color, a blazing, unapologetic orange. Not the soft accent shade Samsung played with before, but a bright, almost cosmic orange. The kind you'd expect Apple to hype with dramatic lighting and a poetic name. That alone has split the internet. Some fans say it's bold and fresh, others are calling it the most un-Ultra move Samsung could make. And honestly, both reactions make sense. The Ultra has always carried this serious, almost industrial feel. Dark metals, sharp edges, a phone that looked like it meant business. Suddenly there's this punchy orange shade that screams attention instead of authority. But here's where things get interesting. This isn't random. Samsung already used a similar orange on the Galaxy Watch Ultra, so if you're the type who loves matching your ecosystem, this might actually be a deliberate style move. Imagine that bright watch and phone combo. It's loud, it's coordinated, and whether you love it or not, it feels like Samsung is stepping into a more expressive visual identity. The leak shows two other colors too, what looks like a white silver and a titanium gray. Much safer, much more familiar. So clearly Samsung knows not everyone wants their $1,000 flagship to look like a traffic cone. But next to the muted tones, the orange feels like Samsung testing how far it can push its Ultra branding without losing its core audience. Color aside, the design shift might end up being the bigger story. The dummy units show softer, more rounded corners and a camera bump that matches the body color. That's a noticeable departure from the Ultra's trademark boxy look. It leans more towards the style of the Galaxy S25 Edge, and that might be intentional. Rumor has it Samsung is restructuring the lineup, possibly ditching the Plus model and reshaping the naming scheme with the Galaxy S26 Pro and S26 Edge sitting below the Ultra. If that's true, bringing the design language closer together is a strategic move. It makes the lineup feel more unified, more like a family, something Apple has perfected. But that also risks taking away what made the Ultra feel Ultra. The squared-off, titanium-like aesthetic was part of its identity. It didn't just look like the best Samsung phone, it looked like a different class altogether. So here's the tension. Making the Ultra visually smoother and more rounded might appeal to mainstream buyers, but hardcore Samsung fans could see it as diluting the Ultra's character. And let's be honest, Ultra owners don't just want the top model. They want the model that looks like the top model. Of course, we're still talking about dummy units. This could be a misdirection, early prototype, or just someone's mock-up that took off online. Lighting and materials and leaks can completely change how a design looks in real life, and we've all seen phones that looked questionable in leaks, but ended up looking premium in hand. But even if these units aren't final, leaks like this usually reflect some direction Samsung is exploring. And that's what makes it worth paying attention to. Not the exact curve of the frame or the shade of orange in a blurry photo, but the philosophy behind it. Samsung might be shifting from power first, design later, to something more lifestyle-driven, more unified across devices. For some people, that's exciting. A Galaxy ecosystem that looks coordinated with strong visual identity and bold color accents, that sounds very Apple-like, and Samsung clearly wants a piece of that polished branding. For others, the Ultra softening its look feels like losing a bit of that rugged, no-nonsense confidence that made it stand out. Personally, this feels like Samsung testing what Ultra means in 2026. Is it just the most powerful phone in the lineup? Or is it also the most expressive, the one meant to be seen, not just used? Whether the orange stays or not, this leak has already done its job. It sparked a reaction. And that tells you something. People don't just buy Ultra phones for performance anymore. They buy them for identity. And Samsung seems ready to play with that. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. See you in the next video. Take care.